Hi, good evening, everyone. Today we are going to go ahead and do two things. First of all, beta, हम देखेंगे some MCQs based on the types of sampling, right? Because this is, I think, a confusing topic for many students. So we will go ahead and discuss the type of samplings, and then we will do some past year questions, PYQs. कौन से ईयर के 2021 all stats questions. Okay, so this is what I aim to do today. ठीक है, let us start with the first question. Try to answer it in the chat window. देखो क्या आंसर होगा. Which of the following is probability sampling method? Okay, correct. C. How about others? That is the correct answer. Answer will be C. देखो, convenience sampling, purposive sampling, and snowball sampling. These are non-probabilistic sampling techniques. नॉन प्रोबेबिलिस्टिक सैम्पलिंग टेक्निक्स वो सैम्पलिंग टेक्निक होती है जिसमें प्रोबेबिलिटी इन्वॉल्व नहीं होती है. देयरफॉर ईच मेंबर डजंट हैव इक्वल चांस ऑफ बीइंग सिलेक्टेड. हर एक का सेलेक्ट होने का चांस इक्वल नहीं है, राइट? प्रोबेबिलिटी इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. whereas probabilistic sampling is when probability is involved. And one of the examples of probability sampling method, it is simple random sampling, SRS. सिंपल रैंडम सैम्पलिंग इंश्योर करता है कि हम जो भी सैंपल पिक करें इट हैज इक्वल चांस ऑफ कमिंग. सो इट्स लाइक दिस. अगर एक बैग के अंदर आई पुट सम नंबर्स, है ना, नंबर 1, नंबर 2, नंबर 3, नंबर 4, नंबर 5, ऐसे करके आई पुट सम चिट्स एंड ईच इंडिविजुअल आई गिव सम नंबर. जैसे अगर मैंने यहाँ पे 1, 2, 3 and so on दे दिया and I pick up some chits. Suppose मैंने chit number 3, chit number 5 pick करी, right? So now what will happen is कि जो भी यहाँ पे chits मैंने select की हैं, those individuals will be selected. So it is completely random in nature, right? It is completely random in nature. ठीक है. Let's go to the next one. I will discuss all of them. Don't worry, beta. अभी सारे धीरे धीरे डिस्कस हो जाएंगे. Come to the next one. Which type of sampling technique involves dividing population into subgroup and selecting sample randomly within each subgroup? Okay. ठीक है. All of you are absolutely correct, बेटा. इसका correct answer है आंसर नंबर C, stratified sampling. तो stratified sampling अब क्या होता है? In stratified sampling, we create something which is known as strata. ठीक है. These stratas are representative of a particular subgroup. ये एक particular subgroup को represent करते हैं. जैसे for example, I can create strata based on religion. है ना? तो मैंने बोला कि all people belonging to religion A one strata, all people belonging to religion B second strata, all people belonging to religion C third strata. और फिर what I will do is that when I have to create a sample, जैसे किसी ने मुझे बोला कि I need 100 people, ठीक है, I will make sure that each strata is represented. तो I will pick some people from this group, some people from this group and some people from this group. हर ग्रुप से मैं कुछ लोग सेलेक्ट करूंगी, right? So there is probability also involved. Because suppose in religion A, there were 150 people. ठीक है, और इसमें से मुझे सपोज 30 पीपल सेलेक्ट करने हैं. So there is probability involved, but at the same time, religion A is represented among these 100 people. हम इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कि religion A इस सैंपल का पार्ट हो. Similarly, suppose B has 200 people, हाँ, and we have to select 40 people यहाँ से. तो any 40 out of 200 फिर से probability तो होगा, but we will ensure that religion B is also part of this group. ठीक है. So stratified sampling ensures that you have representation of different groups from the population. हर group दिखे. Because otherwise, suppose religion C only 10 people are there. ठीक है. And हम directly random sampling कर लेते हैं. We don't create strata. तो क्या हो सकता है? There are chances that in the 100 sample, only people from A and B are there. शायद C से कोई select ही ना हो. Maybe nobody is selected from C. So in order to ensure that every group is represented, हर group का representation हो, we want to go ahead and we want to create stratas first, and therefore it is called as stratified sampling. ठीक है. Come to the next question. Try this one. Okay. All of you are correct. Yes. तो cluster sampling में क्या होता है? We divide the population into cluster and then we sample the entire cluster. We divide the population into cluster and we sample the entire cluster. Absolutely correct. Yes. तो cluster sampling basically क्या है? You are creating a cluster, but this cluster can be heterogeneous in nature. Whereas when you do the other sampling, which is your stratified sampling, stratified sampling will be homogeneous stratas. This is the difference between cluster and stratified sampling. जैसे अगर हम cluster sampling की बात कर रहे हैं तो इसमें what we can do, suppose I need to go ahead and I need to create a sample of 20 schools out of entire India. ठीक है. अब instead of just taking 20 schools, what I can do is I can divide the entire region in 4 parts: north, south, east, west. ऐसा करके I have just divided it in entire part. हाँ. And now what I will go ahead and what I will do is I will say कि ठीक है, from east go ahead and select 5 schools. From north select 5 schools. From west select 5 schools. From south select 5 schools. अब ये जो 5 schools north से select किए हैं, the 5 schools I have selected from north, they will not have same properties. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो similar in nature है, right? They will not have same properties, but they belong to a cluster which is north. Similarly, west will not have same property. वो 5 school का properties are not same, but they belong to the cluster west. So what we are doing is we are creating cluster, but those clusters have members which are heterogeneous. They don't have similar properties. When we create strata, वो strata homogeneous property पे create होता है, right? So for example, if I want each religion to be represented, तो हर religion एक strata है. So all people in this religion are similar in nature. They follow the same religion. In this strata, they are having something similar to each other, right? So basically, strata is created on homogeneous properties. कि सबका religion same या gender same, some homogeneous property. But cluster is just created for our ease, right? Cluster is where you go ahead and you just divide population randomly in some parts, right? It can be based on geographical grouping. It can be based on some natural grouping, but Internally cluster will be heterogeneous in nature. उसका जरूरी नहीं है properties will match. That is what is called as cluster sampling. ठीक है बेटा, जो भी सैम्पलिंग टेक्निक्स अभी नहीं कवर हुई हैं, once we do all MCQs they will be covered, don't worry. Yes, homogeneous group, strata, heterogeneous group, clusters, absolutely. Do this question. Which of the following is not a characteristic of non-probabilistic sampling? Okay, that's correct. तो non-probabilistic means probability ही नहीं है, और अगर probability नहीं है तो equal chance of selection कैसे हो सकता है? Right? If there is no probability, you cannot have equal chance of being selected. So that is the correct answer. B is the right answer. Every individual has equal chance of getting selected. Nahi. This is actually probabilistic sampling. This is probabilistic sampling, not non-probability sampling. ठीक है. Do the next question. Okay, good. That is correct. So systematic sampling is what sampling beta, where you systematically choose. Just for example, if there is a researcher who has gone to a village and he wants to go ahead and he wants to get sample of 10 houses and there are 100 houses, है ना? तो वो randomly क्या करेगा? He will select any one house. जैसे randomly he selects the 5th house. And then he will follow a system that, okay, after 5th, I will add 10 to it. I will select the 15th house. Then I will select the 25th house. Then I will select the 35th house, right? So there is some randomness. Randomness क्यों है? Because this first house itself is selected randomly. But there is also some systematic, right? Systematicness, क्योंकि हम एक regular interval पे systematically select कर रहे हैं. So we are selecting in regular interval in a ordered pattern, right? So yes, answer will be systematic sampling. ठीक है, do this one. Right. Yes, that's the correct answer. A researcher uses volunteers from university class for a study. This is an example of. So, जैसे for example, I tell you कि, make a Google form and tell me information about the watching pattern of people कि लोग कौन सा टीवी शो देखते हैं, how much do they watch, ऐसा करके कुछ make a Google form. Now what you do is कि instead of taking information from all kind of people, you just circulate this Google form in your class, yeah, among your relatives. It means that you are creating a bias. आपने सबसे नहीं लिया डेटा, आपने इसको across different kind of people rotate नहीं किया. जो आपके आसपास के लोग हैं, your class, your relatives, you just collected it from them. So in that sense, you have taken your own convenience. Those participants which were easily accessible, जो आराम से मिल रहे थे, आपने सिर्फ उनसे डेटा कलेक्ट किया. So when you go ahead and when you do that, when you collect data only from people who are easily accessible, right? It means you are acting at your convenience. And when you act at your convenience, definitely it is convenience sampling. Okay. So I hope this is clear. It is called as convenience sampling. Do this one. Okay. How about others? Absolutely, absolutely. That is correct. So what is snowball sampling? Snowball sampling is basically a sampling where we go ahead and we use referrals. ठीक है? तो हमने क्या किया कि suppose again let's take this Google form. ठीक है? And I have these 5 friends, ठीक है, जिनको I know, and I ask them to fill the Google form. Now what I go ahead and what I do is I tell them कि अच्छा you are filling the Google form na, can you ask your mother and father also to fill this form for me? And I get more people to fill this Google form. माने I am using initial participants, जो मेरे initial participants हैं, to recruit others. बाकियों को recruit कर रही हूँ मैं through them, right? And therefore, what I am going ahead and I am doing is I am creating a network or a chain. So this is also called as network sampling or chain sampling. ये कब create करते हैं हम? When it is difficult to collect information from people. Usually, especially in villages. जैसे I go to a village. So let me tell you my story. In Delhi School of Economics, after first year, but आपके पास एक वो होता है, you get a scholarship kind of thing, an articleship kind of thing, जो सबको नहीं मिलती. मतलब you have to apply there, and you have to write a paper, and they will select 4-5 groups out of all. ठीक है, it's called as the RK scholarship, right? And based on that, उस scholarship के basis पे they give you funds to do your research during your summer break, right? Now in that break, they will fund जो भी आपका पैसा लगेगा, whatever money it takes. So if you decide to do something related to a village, say आपने बोला कि okay, I will go to a village, and for example what we had done is during that period, the paper that we had written was to go ahead and see women empowerment in a particular village, or that village was the village of a very big women wrestler. So we wanted to see कि क्या उसके women wrestler बनने से did women empowerment improve in that village, and how much is the women empowerment there. तो वहां पे women were not very open to speaking to you, right? So if you want to actually go ahead and if you want to talk to women, what you will do is you will make 2 or 3 friends वहां पे village में. कोई 2-3 जो थोड़ा vocal women लगेंगे, आप उनको अपना friend बनाओगे, and you will ask them to disclose data about other women, or to go ahead and to help you approach other women. माने you will create a network to do your survey, to do your research, right? So when the population is hard to reach, जब आप population को बहुत आसानी से नहीं बात कर सकते हो, at that time this is good to create a network and then to approach them using a network, right? So again there is no probability involved. This is all non-probabilistic, क्योंकि जो भी लोग मिल रहे हैं, you are selecting them through some network, right? They are not random in nature, and you will use them whenever the population is hard to reach. So the correct answer definitely is B. ठीक है, go ahead and do the next one. Is that is yes, all of you write the correct answer. Nine. We are saying C also. The correct answer to this question will be B. It can lead to higher sampling error as compared to other methods. Okay. This is a cluster. Okay. What if only certain clusters are sampled? अगर आपने सारे clusters को sample नहीं किया, and you go ahead and you only take certain clusters, then it means that you are not able to incorporate the variability in the population. आप अपने पूरे population से related variability को नहीं ले रहे हो. You're not considering the variability among the population members when you only select certain clusters for sampling, right? And that increases the sampling error, right? So one issue with cluster sampling is that it will always lead to sampling errors. Clusters are heterogeneous among themselves, yes. Even on the basis of that, because they're heterogeneous, you can go ahead and say that the variance will be high. And if the variance will be high, the sampling error will also be high. Sampling error is nothing but under root of variance. So उस basis पे भी you can go ahead and say that the sampling error will be high in case of cluster sampling. Yes, the right answer to this question should be therefore B. It does not allow for population generalization. We are not able to do any kind of generalization. This is not a disadvantage of cluster sampling, right? Population mein to I am trying to include people from east, west, north, south. I am not going for generalization or non-generalization, right? So this is neither an advantage nor a disadvantage of cluster sampling, that it does not allow for population generalization. Rather it is good कि हम लोग हर cluster को represent कर रहे हैं. So we are able to represent different aspects of population, right? I don't want to anyways generalize the population. I don't want to say that everyone in my population is from east or west. I don't want that generalization. और वो कर भी नहीं रहा है. So it's not a disadvantage for me. It's good thing that it is able to take different aspects of population. Okay. ठीक है. Let's take the next question. Quota sampling. Try to answer this one. ठीक है, that is correct. Correct. Yes. So the correct answer to this question is B. Quota sampling क्या करता है? Quota sampling is non-probabilistic sampling technique. Non-random in nature. So this is very often used. Just for example, I am running for votes. Say I am party A. And I want to go ahead and I want to show that we have done significant improvement in my region. Okay. Now there are people who agree to this. उन्हें लगता है कि हाँ मैंने improvement की है. And there are people who don't agree. उन्हें लगता है कि कोई improvement नहीं हुई है. What I do is I purposely select these people and I just question them. Right? So I have created a predetermined quota. Okay? Ki only those people who think that there is improvement, I am just going ahead and putting them in my sample. And then I am showing that there has been an improvement. So wo ho gaya quota sampling. Quota sampling is where people meet a predetermined quota. आपके दिमाग में कुछ था और आपने सिर्फ उन्हीं लोगों को सेलेक्ट किया who fulfill that thing. So when they fulfill the predetermined quota,